Hello everyone, I hope you've had a very happy Merry Christmas. I've clearly fallen off of the crocheting bandwagon. This is where we left off last time. Actually, I just did one more row and as you can see it is very loose. So I need to work on that. And if you can tell, it's really hard to see because it's all twisted. See, it's all twisted, but if I hold it straight, it looks like it's curving in on both edges here. So it's looking a bit like a watermelon slice, and I feel like if I keep going, it's going to end up coming to a point like a pizza slice. So I'm thinking I'm going to try looking at a tutorial and attempting a granny square next time. So tomorrow, hopefully if I stay on the bandwagon, thank you Chris for pushing me to attempt this again after I had not given up, but after my long hiatus, I guess, to force me back on track because I really needed that push. But it's a little bit disheartening to see that even though I've worked on my tension and my hold and my grip and everything, it's still kind of where I started with in terms of shape. My progress is not as fast as I hoped, but again, I haven't been practicing as I should have. So I'm going to just attempt a granny square, a proper granny square, instead of just making lines, because clearly my lines are getting smaller. I think today I'll just finish this and see if it does end up being a pizza. And then tomorrow we will start new with the granny square. I've seen a very good tutorial for that, so I'm going to try it. And maybe I'll follow it. Again, it's Bella Coco. I really like her videos. They're very simple to follow, even though I've not gone too far with it. So I'm just going to quickly finish this up. I'm hoping it's going to be a shorter video today, because I'm thinking I need to kind of pick up the pace on this. I feel like I'm going too slow for how long I've been practicing. Although, like I said, I've taken a couple days off. Just my laziness setting in, really. So I need to really work on that, and I did start this video project to keep myself on track. I'm a little bit sad that I only managed a few days before I fell right off of that bandwagon. But I am here and I am doing it again. I am continuing, and that is probably more than would have happened if I hadn't started these videos, so I'm not too upset about it. See, I feel like I'm just going to keep going through the same loop over and over again, but maybe not. Maybe I have been, and that's why it's so oddly shaped. Every time I think I kind of have a groove going, it just, something goes wrong and I mess up somewhere. And it takes me a little while to get back on track with it, because now I'm just pulling random, just unraveling it. Okay, so let's continue. I feel like because I left it a few days and my yarn has kind of gone everywhere a little bit, that it's kind of unraveled in parts, like here. You can see it's not as tight and neat as it was before. So I think I also need to find a better way to store my project, because I kind of just leave it on the table and it gets moved here and there. Whoops. And yes, various hands touch it, and then it just kind of becomes a bit of a mess, which does not help me in my crocheting journey, as I called it. So if I should try and get a different needle. I've seen, if you've heard of the Try Guys, I just watched a video of them learning to crochet granny squares and making a giant blanket. And I figure if they could do it, I can do it too. But they had a massive, massive needle and really big chunky yarn. So I'm wondering if having something bigger to work with might actually make it easier. But it also looks more fun to do. Like, maybe I won't go too big, like how big they went. I think it was like a, oops, I just lost it. It's okay, just pull it and try it again. They had like a 10 millimeter, is it millimeter? Yeah, they had a really big hook. And my hook feels really, really tiny in comparison. So I might try and get a bit of a bigger hook because mine is 4.0. So 10 isn't that big then. Maybe it was bigger than 10. I'm just making up numbers now, I bet. But yeah, they had a really big needle. I'm really excited to attempt the granny square. I've been putting that project or that idea off because I've been afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it. But honestly, I think I really do just need to push myself out there a little bit more. You know, keep it interesting for myself. Something different to keep myself going. And if I can pull it off, like I'm not pulling this off, if I can actually pull off a granny square, I will feel a lot better about myself and my ability to actually crochet. Because like I said, I assumed that this would turn into a triangle, and it seems to be coming true, my prediction, because it has very drastically changed into this shape that is very clearly a triangle, where before it was a little bit harder to tell. And I'm wondering if it's because I'm skipping stitches somehow, or if I'm just pulling it too tight, even though there's like bigger gaps now. It's very confusing because I must be doing something strange. I might have to revisit this at a later time. But I am going to move on to a granny square tomorrow. And if I'm successful, I might try to crochet a little blanket or towel or something. And then I've heard there's these magic circles, I believe. So I might try and do one of those another time. So now it looks like I have fully come to a point. It is a 100%. I'm going to actually pull this up a little higher and show you here. It looks like a watermelon slice, and the holes are very uneven. So this is what I started with, basically like this from the last video, and I have somehow done this to it. Maybe I will make another 3 of them and stitch them together, and it will be a circle. So that could actually be a bit of a fun project. If you look at these edges here, I'm not sure it's supposed to look quite as knotted as well, so I must have been doing something wrong here as well. It feels very, very knotty, whereas this feels more flat down here. So, and even this side, it, like, there's this one that's bothering the heck out of me. Oh, actually, no, look, they're on all of them. So I'm doing something wrong here, and this one, there's this one that is like the same on the other side, and this here is just a massive knot. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure how to fix this, but like I said, I'm going to try and move on, work on something else, and then come back to this idea of making a square and not a triangle using just the double stitch, I believe, or the single stitch, or however they call it. So I'm going to revisit this project. I'm going to cut this off and save it so that I can one day come back to this and see if I've ever improved, which I'm really hoping I will, because again, my goal is to learn how to do this, and to do that, I have to learn what I'm doing wrong. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing the rest of the night. Happy New Year if I somehow fall off the bandwagon again. I'm really hoping I don't, and I will see you tomorrow. But if something does happen and I miss a couple days, then the New Year's right around the corner, so Happy New Year if I don't see you otherwise. Anyway, see you, bye.